Hi, this is 50/50, real estate podcast for the common man, where we talk about selling, buying, and investing in real estate. We aren't baffling you with BS. We're dazzling you with brilliance. We're not telling you how to become a millionaire. We're telling you stories, the truth, and the information no one is talking about. So sit back, listen, laugh, and enjoy 50/50, real estate podcast for the common man.
Hey everybody, JD here. Hope you're looking good and feeling fine. Hopefully you had a great weekend with friends, neighbors, relatives, and whoever you hung out with. Hey, we're going to be discussing all kinds of things in this podcast. Matter of fact, things that people kind of just touching on, but really don't want to really talk about it. And then we're going to talk about things that nobody is talking about. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be amazing you, stupefying you, cragulating your eyes, and we're going to show you how you be shenanigarized. Yes, you've been shenanigarized, folks. And we're going to discuss in depth what's going on. So sit on down, get yourself up. What's in front of me here? Look at this. Silk almond milk. Look at this. Hey, dark chocolate silk almond milk. So if you don't have anything to drink, go out and get yourself a silk almond milk. It actually tastes pretty darn good. And they're not even sponsoring this. I don't know. I just have it in front of me and it tastes pretty darn good. But anyway, let's get to it. All right. Hey, interest rates have gone up and people are going, good grief. They were like 2.9 a few months ago. Now they're about 4.5. 4.5 is nothing. Wait until probably middle of summer, fall. They're going to be 5.5%. And that's pretty decent. That's about, where an average interest rate should be. But here's the thing. If people haven't bought a home in the past 3 to 4 years when interest rates are 2.9%, why would they be buying a home at 4 or 5%? They're not. In matter of fact, the home market's going to slow down dramatically. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking about buying a home and you're getting hustled and shenanigarized by people going, oh, market's hot, market's just going up even more this year. Boy, if you believe that, I got some swampland I'll be glad to sell you. Because don't believe it. Because for every interest rate, okay, listen to this. Okay, put everything down. Listen to this. For every interest rate that the housing market goes up, and remember we were 2.9, well, almost 5% now, actually 4.5%. For every interest rate, it eliminates 250,000 people in the United States from purchasing a home. Yes, 250,000 people from purchasing a home for just one interest rate hike. Well, we're almost up 2%. That means almost 500,000 people can't buy a home anymore. So here's what's going to happen. Here's my predictions. Ready, folks? Here's my predictions. The past 3 or 4 years, it's been seller's market. Oh, bid $100,000 more. Don't go for inspections. Don't go for appraisals. Just buy the house. Even buy the house unseen. Just put in an offer. You don't even have to look at the house. Well, those are over. If you're selling your home, the party's over, folks. It's now to get back into the real world. So here's what's going to happen, you guys, for the buyers and the sellers. You're going to start getting basically offers that are saying seller pays points. Sellers pay closing costs. Now, you probably, if you haven't been around for a while, you're probably going to say, what the heck are points? Well, they never mentioned that because interest rates were so low and everybody was buying homes left and right, and nobody even brought up points. Well, in the old days, we always used to have the seller pays points because the interest rates were high. And what points are, it's basically what the mortgage company charges, could be the buyer or the seller, to buy the rate down to a lower interest rate. It's basically kind of like, hey, we're going to ask for interest up front, and that will give us, say, a 4% interest rate when you look at all the interest plus the upfront points that we charged you. And by doing that, we'll give you a 3% interest rate. That's kind of layman way of looking at it. So a lot of sellers and buyers will probably start asking sellers to pay points, or hey, we want you to pay closing costs. Some of them might be, hey, we want you to pay 1 point plus $1,000 in closing costs. So we're going to start seeing that probably in the next month or two. So if you're buying a home or you're selling a home, you're probably going to be seeing that. And maybe even, you're going to probably start seeing maybe buyers doing buyers down payment assistance programs, things along that way. Now, sellers can't contribute to down payments. A lot of people say, well, what can't sellers just contribute to down payments? No, they can't, because it's called an enticement to buy. Lenders will not allow that. So if buyers are coming in and asking sellers to help with the down payment, it just isn't going to fly. It's not going to work. But buyers can ask for points to get a lower interest rate or have the seller pay their closing costs, which you're probably going to get a lot. Another thing that I see coming down the pike, which is really interesting, is new homes are dead. Stop playing taps, lower the flag. The new homes are dying. Let me tell you why. Because so many people purchased homes last year when the interest rates were like 2.93%. And houses were selling left and right, multiple offers, 12 offers within a day. And when they put a contract on new homes, they thought, well, a year from now when my home is completed, boy, I'll have offers. Things are hot. Things are just selling. People are selling their homes within hours after they put them up. Well, guess what? Two things. First of all, they might not be able to qualify because interest rate went from 2.9 to almost 5%. And it might even be 5% by the time they close, and they won't be able to qualify because remember I said for every 1% in interest rate, 250,000 people can't buy a home or qualify. So interest rates went 2%, which is pretty close as doing. That's almost 500,000 people that can't qualify. So they're not going to be able to qualify for buying the new home. So there's going to be a lot of fallout in the new home builders market. Plus, a lot of these people who think they'll be able to sell their homes really quick won't be able to sell their homes. So the homes aren't going to sell for the price that they thought they were going to get. So they're going to be on the market a lot longer. They're going to get a lot less money for their homes, which is probably also going to disqualify them because maybe they were thinking, hey, I'm going to walk away with $300,000 in profit and put that down. I'll be able to qualify. Now they might go, wow, I'm only walking away with $230,000 and that extra $80,000 isn't going to be there, and that could probably not be able to qualify. Or they say, well, geez, I can't afford that higher payment, or I just can't sell my home for what I thought it was worth and put that money down on a new home. So I'm just going to have to cancel my contract. So there's going to be a lot of new builds cancellations. Also, a lot of builders who basically built homes on spec. And what that means is that houses were selling left and right. They built homes without even having contracts on them because they knew the minute the homes were being built, and once they broke ground and so on, they could sell them like within 24 hours. They're not going to be around. So there's going to be a lot of homes, new homes that were under speculation that they could sell them aren't going to be around. And there's going to be a lot of fallout because a lot of people won't be able to qualify for them. And a lot of people that put an offer on a new home and have a house that they were going to sell aren't going to be able to sell them as quick as they are. And they're probably not going to be able to sell them for what they thought were overinflated, crazy prices. So they're not going to get like the money out of their homes like they thought. So the new home builders, like I said, stop playing the taps, lowering the flag. They're dying. And you watch probably, middle of summer. There's going to be tons of specs on new homes. They're going to be lowering the prices. Like I said, it's going to be hard for the new home builders to lower the price because if they lower the price, it's going to make a lot of the people who bought new homes past 3 years angry when you could buy a new home for $50,000 less than what they bought their home 2 years ago, because builders are going to be sucking air and they're just going to be lowering the prices, do giveaways. Hey, buy a home, we'll replan it, we'll completely put in a new basement for you, or we'll landscape the entire yard, or we'll put in new granite countertops, upgrades on appliances, or upgrade your carpet, or do a lot of that, or put features and give them to you for free, and so on and so forth, just to get you to close on a home, because they're going to be stuck big time. And like I said, sellers won't be able to move up because of the fact that they won't be able to sell their homes. They won't be able to qualify, and it's like, why should I sell my home now? I can't afford any more than what I live in. So they're going to be stuck in their home. So they won't be able to be moving up. And that's going to be happening. Another thing that I see is rents. People who are renting, a lot of them who purchased a home in the past 3 or 4 years, they just let their homes basically be run down because they don't know how to fix anything. A lot of them, and this is no fault of them, they just called up the landlord and say, hey, fix the water heater, or hey, my dishwasher doesn't work. And then they buy a home and they can't fix anything. And then they find out, wow, the water heater cost me $2,000. The furnace just broke. That's $6,000. My sprinklers are broken. I don't know how to fix them. I'm going to have to call the sprinkler guy. That's going to cost me $250. Oh, yes, I'm paying $30, $40 for trash now that I didn't have to pay. So a lot of the renters probably aren't going to be buying homes. Or if they do, they're going to be stuck with a lot of fix-up costs they weren't expecting. So that's going to prevent a lot of people. Oh, yeah. Also, inflation went up almost 8%. So, now you have inflation, so your paycheck is worth a lot less. You're buying less food. Gas is almost, $4.50, $5 a gallon in most of the states now. And it was like $2 a year and a half ago. So that is basically hurting people. And here's what's really interesting. Here's the biggest con ever, folks. Okay, are you ready? Nobody is talking about this. I can guarantee you I have not heard it in any podcast, anywhere, any place, because they don't want you to know. Nobody doesn't want anybody to know this. The government doesn't want you to know it. The accountants probably aren't aware of it. The banks aren't aware of it. Nobody is. So write this down and check with your tax consultant, and maybe they'll be able to explain it. Or maybe they'll look at you and go, what are you talking about? What is JD talking about? He's out of his mind. I don't know what he's coming up with. Because they fooled us. They pulled the wool over our eyes, and nobody knows this. Are you ready for this? Are you sitting down, folks? There is, for the average American person now, average person, not your millionaire, your average guy who owns maybe $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 home, average family, there is absolutely no tax benefit buying a home now. Okay? I hear quiet. I hear shock. I hear people go, what the hell is he talking about? Yes, there is absolutely no tax benefit for buying a home. If you are homeowners, you are not getting any tax benefit buying a home over somebody's renting a home now. Okay, if you're renting, folks, you're getting the same tax benefit as somebody owning a home. Now, you're probably sitting there going, what the heck is he talking about? Nobody's told me this. I've never heard this. My tax consultant hasn't told me any of this. Nobody's talking about this. Well, let me explain, folks, because this is real estate for the common man. And folks, if you're listening to this, I am going to show you how you've been shenaniganized, basically the wool pulled over your face, and basically just, I don't know what, just been taken advantage of because they pulled a big fast one on everybody. Are you ready? Sit down. Here it comes, folks. Here it comes, because JD is the person that tells you what nobody else is talking about. Here we go. Write this down, and then when the podcast is over, you're going to go, what? What? And then when you're driving in your car, you're drinking your coffee, or you're sitting down, it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks, and you're going to go, well, I'll be darned. Now I get what he's talking about. Okay, here it goes. Are you ready? The standard deduction. Okay, you're going to do taxes. We're in April. Taxes are due in about 2 weeks. The standard deduction for a single person now is $12,950. For a married couple, it's $25,900. So what does that mean? That means if you itemize and you do not have deductions over $25,900 for a married couple, you really can't itemize because your standard deductions are more than your itemized deductions. Got it? Okay, got it? So let's use that, okay? I'm just going to talk to married single people or $12,950. So maybe single people buy a condo or townhome, married people might buy a home. So just follow where I'm going with this, okay? So let's say you have a loan and you have a $400,000 loan. That's a lot of money. Big house, nice house. But we're going to use $400,000 loan just because that's pretty nice home. and you have a 30-year mortgage on that at 4%, okay? You have a 30-year mortgage at 4%. In 30 years, you will pay $287,478 in interest. Got it? Got it. Now let's say you divide that by 30. Let's divide $287,478 divided by 30, and you come up with an interest of $9,582 a year. Okay? That's your interest. Now remember, interest is a write-off. Let's say you also have property taxes, right? Yeah, let's just say your property taxes are $2,800. So let's add the $9,582 interest with our property taxes of $2,800, and we have $12,382 worth of deductions on a home, right? But remember, hey, our standard deduction for a married couple is $25,900. So we're not getting a write-off on our home because the write-off on our home is less than our standard deduction. So buying a home and owning a home for a tax deduction is gone. They shenaniganized us. They pulled the wool over it. They upped our standard deduction to $25,900 for a married couple. So if you're renting, you still get a $25,900 deduction. Just the same as if you owned a home. So the home isn't a deduction, folks. Hey, check that out. And you're going, what? Say what, JD? Say what? Well, guess what? Sleep on that baby, because nobody's talking about it. Well, folks, that is what's going on. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're sitting there going, scratching your head, because put it all together and it'll hit you in a while. And I appreciate you guys listening to the podcast. We're getting a lot of listeners here. Thank you. Love you guys all. Thank you again, man. Thank you very, very much for spending your time with me. I get a little crazy once in a while, but like I said, trying to make this entertaining too. So I really appreciate. Tell your friends, neighbors, relatives, guy, about what I said about the standard deduction and home ownership, and the houses are not really great tax deductions anymore because the standard deduction's gone up more. Put it down on paper, talk amongst yourselves, and then maybe it'll hit you. Again, thank you very much, guys. Have a great week, and I'll see you next Monday. Take care of yourself.
We hope you enjoyed the show, Real Estate for the Common Man. Please follow us or subscribe. Tell your friends, neighbors, relatives, and coworkers about us. We're on all your major podcast apps: Amazon, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and iTunes. If you can't remember all that, just Google it, or have your friends Google Real Estate for the Common Man, and it will come up. Again, we thank you very much for your time, and hopefully you enjoyed the show. Hey, if you live in Colorado Springs and want to buy or sell a home, you can look us up at soldrealestatecompany.com as in I sold a home. Again, thank you very much. Have a very good week, and we'll see you next Monday.